You know, every single time you click, every site you visit, you're leaving a little trace behind. And in today's world, knowing how to protect yourself online, it's not just a good idea anymore, it's a full-on survival skill. So let's really dig into what that means, right now, in 2026. Okay, so the internet in 2026, it's just gotten so much smarter, right? It's woven into everything we do. But here's the thing, so have the threats. And that's why browsing safely isn't some optional extra anymore. Nope, it's an absolutely crucial skill for surviving in this modern era.
So what's the biggest difference now? Well, it's the threats themselves. You can just forget all that old advice about, looking for spelling mistakes in an email. That's ancient history. Today's cyber threats are supercharged with AI, and trust me, they've completely changed the game.
And leading the charge here is something called AI-powered phishing. Now, these are not your grandma's scam emails, okay? We are talking about incredibly sophisticated attacks that use AI to whip up fake messages, emails, and even websites that look so real, it's almost impossible to tell them apart from the genuine article. And often, they're tailor-made just for you.
And this is where it gets kind of spooky and really personal. These AI attacks, they can use your real name, your job title. They might even know about something you just bought online. They cook up this believable sense of urgency that just traps you, and they do it using language that sounds totally human. Yeah, the days of spotting those obvious fakes are long gone.
All right, I know that sounds pretty intimidating, but here's the good news. Our defenses have been evolving right along with these threats. So let's jump into the essential toolkit that you're going to need to stay safe in this new world.
Believe it or not, your most important tool is the one you're probably using right now, your web browser. Seriously. In 2026, the browser you choose is more critical than ever before. Think of it as your gatekeeper, your shield. It's your absolute first line of defense.
See, a modern privacy-first browser isn't just sitting there. It's an active defender. It should be blocking all those creepy trackers by default, protecting you from something called fingerprinting, we'll get to that, and updating its own security all by itself. It's basically working for you 24/7, even when you're not thinking about it.
Okay, let's switch gears and talk about our accounts. That old habit, you know the one, using the same simple password for everything, that is one of the absolute riskiest things you can do. The standard for security today is all about layers. We're talking about using password managers to create unique, strong passwords, maybe even using passkeys, and always turning on multi-factor authentication, or MFA. And let's be super clear about what's at stake here. Just one weak password doesn't just put one account at risk. It can be the one key that unlocks your entire digital life, your email, your bank, your social media, everything. All right, so we've got our browser locked down and our accounts are secure. But what about the dangers we can't even see? Let's pull back the curtain on how you're being tracked across the web, often in ways that have nothing to do with those classic cookies. So, have you ever wondered about this? You're blocking cookies, you're doing everything right, but then ads for that pair of shoes you just looked at are still following you everywhere? How are websites identifying you without cookies? What's going on there?
Well, the answer is a pretty clever technique called digital fingerprinting. And it's exactly what it sounds like. Instead of leaving a little cookie file on your computer, websites collect all these tiny, seemingly random details about your device. Things like your screen size, the fonts you have installed, your browser settings. And together, all those little pieces of information create a profile so unique, it acts just like a real fingerprint. It lets them identify and track you.
And look, each of these data points on its own seems pretty harmless, right? Who cares about my screen resolution? But when you combine them all, your screen size, your fonts, the browser extensions you use, they build a profile that can track you with really startling accuracy. And this is exactly why having a browser that actively fights fingerprinting is so important. Okay, let's talk about a risk we all face out in the real world. Public Wi-Fi. You know, at the coffee shop, the airport. It's super convenient, but there's a really simple rule to remember. When the Wi-Fi is public, so is the risk.
And when you're on public Wi-Fi, these are the non-negotiable rules. These networks are often wide open, totally insecure, which makes it way too easy for hackers to just grab your data out of the air. So rule number 1, never ever access your bank account. Don't log into any other sensitive accounts, and for sure, don't enter any personal info or payment details on a network you don't 100% trust.
Look, having the right tools is only half the battle. Your most powerful defense, honestly, is building smart habits. Making those safe choices just become automatic, like second nature. This is really what digital survival is all about.
So here's a simple checklist to help make these habits stick. First, keep your devices and apps updated. Those updates often have critical security fixes.
Always, and I mean always, double-check a URL before you click it. Try to share less personal data online in general, and stay informed about new threats. But most of all, just think before you trust those unexpected links. That little pause can save you.
You know, the main takeaway here isn't that you have to become some kind of cybersecurity expert or a hacker to be safe. It really just comes down to awareness. Simply being aware of the threats, knowing the tools you have, and paying attention to your own online habits, that is your greatest strength.
Because in the end, that's really the heart of digital survival. The safest people online aren't paranoid. They're just prepared. Thanks for tuning in.